पर न जाने कमबख्त कैसे मेरे निर्णय का पता कॉलेज में सबको चल गया। कईयों का दिल बैठ गया, कईयों का दिमाग हिल गया। कुछ बोले नशा पता कराया होगा, कुछ बोले नहीं बुखार में बड़बड़ाया होगा। तो कुछ मेरे पॉलिश्ड सहपाठी, पॉलिश पीपल, तो मेरे कुछ पॉलिश सहपाठी बोले क्यों रे तेरा क्या भेजा फिर गया से, ये दिमाग जैसी नाजुक चीज के पीछे लट लेके पड़ गया से। दिमाग बहुत नाजुक चीज है, ये तुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा। हम तुझे सही सलाह दें तो हड्डियां का डॉक्टर बढ़िया बन जाएगा।
Hello everyone. When we think about doctors, what's the first impression that comes to our mind? A serious professional who has no nonsense conversation, someone who talks in a very obscure language and uses a lot of medical terminologies, someone who writes in even more obscure language and prescribes in a manner that only a pharmacy vendor could understand. But in reality, these doctors are also humans and they have had their own struggles and hustles, and that's worth celebrating. That's why I wanted to create a podcast that dives into the lives of these superheroes of society, but we discuss all the different aspects with some banter and fun. With that, my name is Dr. Akhilesh Gandhi and welcome to the podcast of Humans of Feeling. My guest today is a genius neurosurgeon. He's a prolific writer as well as a poet. He's a patent holder and above all of these, a genuine human being. It gives me an absolute honor to invite my first guest. Welcome Dr. Lokendra Singh. It's an honor to have you over here.
Thank you very much, Akhilesh. I am actually director of Central India Institute of Medical Sciences at Nagpur, which is basically a neurosciences institute. And I'm also president of Neurological Society of India, national president.
Dr. Singh, which year did you enter the medical college and can you just tell us?
Oh, it sounds like ages. 1974.
1974 you entered the medical college.
Yeah.
Okay, and which medical college was this?
It was SMS, Savai Mansingh Medical College, Jaipur. SMS, yeah.
All right. And what was the interaction with seniors like? Can you just tell us about an incident of yours?
The medicals had their own aura,
Yeah.
Some 20 boys will go to any picture hall.
Yeah.
Raj Mandir was a very, very beautiful, decorated like a royal palace.
Cinema
hall in
Yeah.
Jaipur. And all medicos are, lean and thin,
Yeah.
kirkant, in Hindi they say.
They won't be the most bulky set of
No, very student, nerds as you said.
Agreed.
So, they will go and 20 medicos. That means he's supposed to bring 20 tickets, give them, make them sit. They'll pay, but there inside,
Yeah,
okay?
there should be some respect in which we come
respect. You should be carried there to the seats and all those
Yeah.
things. So, this picture hall actually employed many bouncers then. They were
Oh.
all big, bulky bouncers. And these 20 and they were around 15, 20, so they were no match.
Yeah.
So, they were beaten up and shooed away.
So 20 medical students were beaten up by the bouncers
Bouncers
of the
and then
cinema
they were
hall.
shooed away.
Okay.
Now they all came crying to the. We were part of that group.
Yep.
We all went crying to seniors.
In the hostel.
That we were beaten up by those.
Yeah.
So there are 3 hostels: junior boys hostel, senior boys hostel, and PG hostel.
Yeah.
3 hostels.
Yeah.
So urgent meeting was held. This is a question of our reputation. We will lose our aura in the city. So urgent meeting was held, and a big gang of 200 boys.
Yeah.
Some juniors, some seniors, some PGs. We all went there.
The army of 200 medicos
200
then went
medicos.
back to take revenge.
And then Raj Mandir was broken into, it was shattered actually, literally. Shattered. And there were Coke bottles earlier, glass bottles.
The glass
And there were chandeliers. And the boys are, practicing on the chandelier.
I suppose Raj Mandir would have never denied any medico any
See,
form of
after that, nobody denied actually. Nobody denied. So, that was the sort of aura Medico had.
Dr. Singh, in India, the career in medicine starts when you enter the medical college.
Yeah.
5.5 years of medical college, after which almost all the states of India have got some or the other form of mandatory rural service bond, which is usually around 2 years. And a lot of the people who pass out MBBS or pass out this after their MS or MD have to go through this mandatory rural bond as such. And a lot of them regret that because they feel already the career span or the learning curve to become a specialized consultant is so long, roughly around 13-15 years, and these rural service further elongates it, if you want to say so. I want to understand from you, how has your experience been in terms of the mandatory rural service, and just tell us, is this the best way of going about providing healthcare in rural areas in India?
I really don't agree with that idea of sending, medicos on a compulsory 2 years rural practice. There is no infrastructure. I have worked in a rural area after my MS General Surgery. I was posted in a dispensary, not even PSC. And what I had was, in those days, carbonative mixture, sulfaguanidine, belladonna plaster. Those were the APC, APC tablets. Now, those were the facility, that was the facility there.
For a MS surgeon.
For MS surgeon. And I told the chief medical officer of the district that, sir, I have done my MS. So he said, so what? I didn't ask you to do MS. So you can understand.
Oh God.
And there was no facility whatsoever. In fact, we didn't have a house with a proper toilet.
Oh.
Now, how can anybody live there? So this, see, after all, and then you rightly said, the career of a doctor during training is so long. And recently, the Chief Justice of India has said in a statement that doctors are trained for such a long period, such rigorously they are trained, they are not well compensated financially at all. They really strive for good salary.
Exactly.
This is very unfortunate part.
But when the government or any government policy mentions that providing this mandatory rural service helps to serve that 70% of the population which is underserved, so to speak, in terms of the access to healthcare, in reality, do they get the access? Do they, once you are posted as a doctor, do they actually get that kind of care that they deserve?
How can they get? When I don't have medicines, I don't have instruments, I don't have operation theatre, I don't have operating table, I have nothing. Only my two hands. Obviously, I can't work with my two hands as a MS surgeon.
Absolutely.
I can't operate anybody with my two hands.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And those are the places where deliveries are done on the roadside. Somebody really sitting on the womb, and pushing the baby out. I've seen all those scenes. What care we are talking about?
From what I gather, Dr. Singh, you never had a girlfriend during your MBBS days, during your college days as such. How difficult was it to approach any girl at that time? And did you have any college crush of yours or someone you had a particular liking for, so to speak, in your medical college?
Actually, I never had a girlfriend, that is true.
Yeah.
And I was very lean and thin,
Okay.
And probably not good looking. Most probably, I'm not very sure. But in those days, to have a girlfriend was like getting a Nobel Prize, It was so difficult to make a girlfriend.
Okay.
And all the girls in our batches were Bhabhi ji for the same batch people. For example, my girlfriend, my classmate girl will be my Bhabhi ji because somebody senior has already chosen her.
Oh, so the seniors dictated that all
Yes.
the girls in the junior batches are your Bhabhi.
Your Bhabhi ji. So
Nobody makes even an inch of flirt or anything.
no
like that.
way.
Did you have any particular crush at that point of
Oh
time?
God, I had many actually. I had many because many of them used to look so good.
Yeah.
And many of them were from English schools. So I'm telling you one funny thing. In our days, the batches had two types of students.
Yeah.
One were from ordinary schools, Hindi medium,
Yep.
and others were from St. Angela and St. Paul
Convent
and
English
Convent
schools.
English,
Yeah.
So they were called Alsatians. We were called Desis. So, but obviously in the beginning we couldn't speak that polished English.
Yeah.
We didn't have that, sort of a gesture and body language, that flamboyance. So, I mean, those were difficult days for us to find a girlfriend. All the girlfriends were taken by the Alsatians.
Interesting. When I was in medical college, till the third year of medical college, I did not have any girlfriend as well. And at that point of time, there was a movie that came somewhere around 2007 by the name Dil Dosti etc. It was a college life-based movie as
Okay.
such to picturize. And in that movie, there was a group of folks who were single, who were deviously called as Fosla. And FOSLA was an abbreviation for Frustrated One-Sided Lovers Association.
Okay.
And that movie was a big hit amongst our group of friends back
Okay.
in medical college. Obviously, single boys, a
Yeah.
group of 6-7 single boys. We really liked the entire movie, and we thought like our group's name should be something like this. But FOSLA doesn't sound appropriate for us. So one of the guys actually came up with the name. We should keep it as HOSLA.
Okay.
And the HOSLA would stand for Hesitating One-Sided Lovers Association.
that was better.
So at least we saved ourselves a little bit in that sense. Not that the girls in the class thought that this was any cool in any form, and probably that's why we were single till third final year or something. Dr. Singh, legend has it that you did one of the most rarest form of neurosurgical procedure, and in that procedure, on your feet, you came out with one of the most brilliant frugal innovation. I really want to know the story of what that case was, how you operated, what was going on inside your head at that point.
There was a young man who came with the seizures, epileptic fits.
Yeah.
We did a CT scan, and then we found there was a huge tumor inside the ventricle. Ventricles are the empty spaces in the brain. Now, the brain was just like a thin layer enveloping this tumor. So I knew that if I will remove this tumor, which is so big, the brain is going to collapse.
True.
Because there was no support underneath. And when it happens, when it collapses, it is going to pull all the veins, cerebral veins, which are draining blood from brain to superior sagittal sinus. There is a big venous channel there,
Yeah.
and they drain into them.
Yeah.
Once that happens, he will die.
True. There will be massive bleeding.
He will die because of massive bleeding.
Yeah.
So we devised so many. I read a lot of on the internet, and then came out with a lot of ideas.
Let me be very clear over here. This is all happening inside the operation theatre.
Yeah.
The patient's brain is
Yeah,
open.
yeah. Brain, we removed it.
Yep.
And then the brain started collapsing. Then I didn't know what to do. So I pushed 3 surgical sponges. Surgical sponges, one surgical sponge is something like that big,
Yeah.
and it could really engulf 3 of them
Inside that
inside the
vacuum
cavity,
space.
inside the brain.
Yeah.
Then only it was in position, not collapsing after that.
Yeah.
Now we tried so many tricks. We tried to glue it up and then fill with saline. I tried to take stitches and then fill it with saline, putting a catheter, taking stitch and filling with saline. Nothing worked. It was just opening up because the pressure from inside was so big.
Yeah.
650 volume fluid will break open anything.
Yeah.
Now I didn't know what to do. So after surgery, 2.5 hours after surgery,
Yeah.
till that time, we were scratching our head what to do, I don't know. Then my anesthetist started shouting at me, why did you remove this tumor? And I was at loss. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I read everything on the net right there in the OT. Nothing worked.
Nothing in the
Nothing
literature
in the
was
literature
there
worked.
that you could actually manage that. Like nothing in the past has been written that how to manage
nothing.
such kind of an operation.
Because in West they don't get that big tumors. Now she told me, my anesthetist shouted, put back the tumor, why did you take it out? Put it back, I don't know. Tumor was removed piecemeal, in pieces.
Yeah.
I told her, how can I don't know, why did you take it out? I just wish you could replace the tumor.
Yeah.
When she said, something clicked in my mind. Immediately that time,
Yeah.
I thought, if I can't put the tumor back, if I can put something like tumor inside,
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
And then the idea came to my mind, why I can't put really, I take a glove, because I try a balloon, I can put a balloon. So we tried to look for a balloon.
Exactly.
So then I took a glove, surgical glove, made a balloon out of it. The finger part was cut, and I tied one end and put catheter to another end, tied it and filled it. It was only 250 or 300. It was again not really helping.
Okay.
Then we took the gynae glove. The gynae glove comes up to here.
Okay. So the gynecologic glove is
Up to
having
here.
its arm length kind of
Yes,
thing.
lam.
Yeah.
I took that part,
Yeah.
and then we tied it, one end, reversed it, and then we put a rice tube, which we use for feeding.
Yeah.
Because there was no catheter available for that. The rice tube end to it, tied it there, we filled it. And it could take actually 600 mils, not even 650 even then. So then this is how we did it. Then what happened? The bone flap which we take away like a lid
Yeah.
from the skull to enter inside, and then we put it back later on. I made a big opening in the center of that, took out that catheter and outside, put the balloon inside and filled it with 600 mils of saline.
Okay.
And then only then the brain, was reconstituted, the shape was, and it was in place.
So finally, brain did not collapse.
No,
with
it
the
did not
600
collapse.
mils of
No.
the gynae gloves arm.
Up to here. And
I bet you will be the only neurosurgeon I've heard of who has used a gynae glove inside
the
a
brain.
inside a cranial cavity. I mean, that's just ludicrous in every way you can think of. There's a segment that we do in our podcast, Dr. Singh, which is to raise awareness about violence and assault against doctors. Can you share a story of your first-hand experience of assault or violence against doctors?
yeah, I actually I have gone through a very bad experience when a patient belonging to some, strong political group
Okay.
was admitted, and with a very, very different type of, this is the fracture of the higher vertebrae.
All right.
We call axis, second vertebra. And I used that operation because I was trained for that, and I cured him from that problem. While he was recuperating in the hospital, he probably developed deep vein thrombosis, which we didn't realize because we were giving him all care. One day when physiotherapist was making him walk, probably a thrombus from here left and went to lung.
So a clot from the vein inside the calf traveled across into the lungs and the brain and basically clogged it up.
It went to the lung.
Lungs, okay.
We call it pulmonary embolism.
Yeah.
He had a massive pulmonary embolism and he died instantly.
Okay.
Now there no problem from our side.
Yep.
We had taken all the precautions. The surgery had gone fantastically well at a very, very cheap cost. Now you see, I had such a huge issue. Large number of strong men of that political party gathered in the hospital. They started breaking the hospital, and then they wanted to beat me up. Fortunately, police had arrived, so they saved me from physical beating.
Okay.
But they threatened a lot. After a day, next day, we thought everything has become,
Things have subsided
yeah,
and normalized.
Things are okay now. I was operating an aneurysm, and it's a complicated surgery. I got a phone call from my friend. He told me my driver lives in the area where this boy used to live, and they are planning a procession with his dead body, and huge number of people have gathered there, his relatives and friends and that people from that political party. They will go in front of your home and burn it.
Wow.
Now I tried to make a lot of phone calls. My wife was somewhere, she didn't pick the call. Then finally, after long 5-7 minutes, he picked the call. I told her to lock the home and run away from that place with the kids. The kids were small at that time, so she, in a panicky way, she locked everything and ran away.
Oh God.
Now, when the procession was about to start, I suddenly remembered that I had a friend in IB, Intelligence Bureau.
Yeah.
Then I made a phone call to him, and he picked in one go, fortunately, and I narrated everything that right now this is going to happen. He immediately rang to DGP, Director General of Police Maharashtra, and DGP rang to CP of the city,
Okay.
Commissioner of Police. Then my whole home was made a fortress. The police vans and large number of police bandobast was there.
And this happened all in a matter of few hours.
Few hours. And now this happened within, I think, 1 hour they could arrange this thing, before they could arrive with the procession.
Wow.
And I was lucky. And they shooed away the whole procession and told them that if you come to this side, you will pay a huge penalty for that. This is how it was averted. And for 15 days, there was a police camp at my home, round the clock.
I can't even imagine what your family members were going through at that point
Yes,
of time
it
and the kind of mental trauma
Yeah.
I guess and it is important to mention that while all of this was happening, you were inside an operation theatre.
Yes, I was trying to save someone.
Exactly.
I remember after this happened, I was down for a week or so, significantly down. I was scared. You know what happens? You try to avoid difficult operations. Government has made a law is there, but it's not on the ground. It is on the paper.
I recently saw something mind-boggling. One of the finest entrepreneurs of our generation, Elon Musk, came out in a press conference with where he has implanted computer chips into the brain of pigs, and which can be controlled from a computer outside in order to provide desired mobility, intellectual ability, improvement in some of movement disorders, so on and so forth. It baffles me till date how that happens. I just wanted to understand from you, what do you think about such kind of an innovation, and where are we heading with this?
So this chip
Yeah.
is very useful because there are many problems, many diseases we have no answer.
Okay.
Now we use, somebody's brain is damaged. He can't listen, he can't hear, he can't move hands. If we can fit a chip which takes over that function,
Yeah.
and the man starts working or listening or hearing, fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, what can be better than this? But the same chip, if I use on your brain and ask you to commit dacoities for me and loot the banks for me, I remotely controlling, it becomes a demon. So how you use the innovation, this is what matters. सर्जन के हाथ भी चाकू, दुर्जन के हाथ भी चाकू, पर एक देव है, एक डाकू.
I cannot let you go off the podcast without having you recite one of your poetries.
The poetry is मैं और दिमाग. मैं और दिमाग. सर्जरी की स्नातकोत्तर परीक्षा पास होने के बाद, MS जनरल सर्जरी होने के बाद, सर्जरी की स्नातकोत्तर परीक्षा पास होने के बाद मेरे पिताजी ने मुझे बुलाया और बोले, बेटा मैं चाहता हूँ तुम दिमाग के डॉक्टर बनो. और जो लोग कहते हैं कि हम सिंह लोगों में दिमाग नहीं होता, उनके समक्ष सीना फुला करता हूँ. तो पितृ आज्ञा को शिरोधार्य कर मैंने निर्णय लिया कि अब तो दिमाग का डॉक्टर बन के ही दिखलाऊंगा. अरे मुझ में हो ना हो पर दिमाग का डॉक्टर तो कहलाऊंगा. पर न जाने कमबख्त कैसे मेरे निर्णय का पता कॉलेज में सबको चल गया. कईयों का दिल बैठ गया, कईयों का दिमाग हिल गया. कुछ बोले नशा पता कराया होगा, कुछ बोले नहीं बुखार में बड़बड़ाया होगा. तो कुछ मेरे पॉलिश्ड सहपाठी, पॉलिश पीपल, तो मेरे कुछ पॉलिश सहपाठी बोले क्यों रे तेरा क्या भेजा फिर गया से, ये दिमाग जैसी नाजुक चीज के पीछे लठ लेके पड़ गया से. दिमाग बहुत नाजुक चीज है, ये तुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा. हम तुझे सही सलाह दें तो हड्डियां का डॉक्टर बढ़िया बन जाएगा. पर ज्यों-ज्यों मेरा विरोध बढ़ता गया, मेरा निर्णय और भी मजबूत होता गया और मैंने सोचा अब तो दिमाग का डॉक्टर बन के ही दिखलाऊंगा. अरे ठीक करूं कि ना करूं, इन सब के काट के अपने लेवल पे लेके आऊंगा. अब मेरा न्यूरो सर्जरी में एडमिशन हुआ. तो एक दिन वो आया जब मेरे टीचर ने मुझे बुलाया, बोले चलो आज शल्य चिकित्सा कक्ष चलेंगे, ऑपरेशन थिएटर. चलो आज शल्य चिकित्सा कक्ष चलेंगे, दिमाग का ऑपरेशन करेंगे. गुरुजी ने चीरा लगाया, कपाल द्वार खोले और दिमाग को दिखाते हुए मुस्कुरा के बोले, यही है तुम जिसके पीछे पीछे हो, और ये अब भी आगे आगे और तुम पीछे पीछे हो. अब दिमाग की ये कल्पना है कि सुकोमल गुलाबी गोरा सा, दिमाग बड़ा नाजुक होता है, सुकोमल गुलाबी गोरा सा किसी अंग्रेज का नवजात छोरा सा, और कपाल रूपी पालने में शांत चित्त सोया था, मानो दिवा स्वप्न में खोया था. पर तभी मुझे यथार्थ ने आ घेरा, शंका कुशंकाओं ने मन में डाल दिया डेरा. अरे इसी की कोख से ईर्ष्या घृणा व द्वेष निपसते हैं, और इसी की विष भूमि पे धर्मंधता और वैमनस्य के विष वृक्ष उपजते हैं. यही है जो बेटों से बापों को और बहनों से भाइयों को लड़वा रहा है और इंसान की इंसानियत को खत्म करवा रहा है. इसी ने विश्व को देशों में, देशों को प्रदेशों में, प्रदेशों को नगरों में और नगरों को डगरों में बांट दिया है. और बंटवारे की ये दीवारें अब समाज को भी बांट रही हैं और समाज के ताने बाने को दीमक सा चाट रही हैं. दिखता ये शालीन है पर कर्म इसके नीचे हैं. राम जन्मभूमि हो या गोधरा, यही सबके पीछे है. इसी के प्रपंचों ने करप्शन को पनपाया है। किसी को हर्षद मेहता तो किसी को तेलगी बनवाया है। दिखता ये नासूर है पर बेलगाम घोड़ा है। रिश्ता हुआ नासूर है, एक दुखता हुआ फोड़ा है। पर दिमाग आखिर दिमाग था, दिमाग था, होशियार था, समझदार था। उसने मेरे मन के भावों को पढ़ लिया। वो पहले कसमसाया, इधर उधर डोला और फिर अत्यंत दुखी स्वर में बोला, मैं भी कभी निर्मल था, मैं भी कभी निश्चल था, मैं भी कभी निर्मल था, मैं भी कभी निश्चल था। इतराता था, बल खाता था, सुगंधित उपवनों में मैं प्रेम गीत गाता था। मैं कागज कोरा कोरा था, एक बावरा सा छोरा था। मेरे भी दिल में कभी करुणा उपस्थित थी, दिल में भाईचारा था, दुनिया उपन सी सस्ती थी। पर अब फजाएं बदल गई हैं, जमाना बदल गया है, फजाएं बदल गई हैं। इस प्यारे से उपवन की शाख शाख जल गई है। जहां मेरा मासूम बचपन पला और जहां मेरा सोच ढला है, उन मदरसों और पाठशालाओं की शिक्षा में बारूद डला है। जो धमनियां रक्त मुझे पहुंचाती हैं उसमें तेजाब घुला है, और जिन हवाओं पे मैं जिंदा हूं उसमें जहर घुला है। देख मेरी भलमनसाहत का क्या मुझको मिला सिला है, और इस पर भी तुझको मुझसे ही गिला है। मैं मानव के संकीर्ण विचारों की काल कोठरी में बंद हूं। जहां भाग्य सदैव सोता है, तमस का साम्राज्य है, सवेरा नहीं होता है। तुझे नहीं मालूम क्या क्या है मैंने भोगा, अरे बोया पेड़ बबूल का तो आम कहां से होगा। उसके दुख का मुझे एहसास हो रहा था। वो भी रो रहा था और मैं भी रो रहा था। तभी सिरिंज एक फूटी, ऑपरेशन चल रहा था ना, तभी सिरिंज एक फूटी तो मेरी तंद्रा टूटी। मैंने जो आंख खोली तो मेरी सुंदर सी एनेस्थेटिस्ट मुस्कुरा के बोली, तू कहाँ खो गया है, ऑपरेशन खत्म हो गया है, ऑपरेशन खत्म हो गया है।
All right. With that, we have come to the fun segment of our episode. This is the rapid fire round.
Okay, fire.
All right, let's begin. If you did not become a surgeon or a doctor, what would you have chosen as your career path?
फौज, आर्मी।
If you could travel back in time, what is the one single piece of advice that you would give to yourself when entering medical college?
I will say that I will prefer not to enter actually.
You will say that you should not enter the medical college. Interesting. What is the most common misconception that people hold about neurosurgeons?
Well, they think the neurosurgeons, they work with very fine nerves, and even if one nerve is turned from here to there, the heaven will fall. It is not so. It can be very crude also at times, and it can be very refined also at times.
What is one talent or skill outside of surgical or clinical skills that you wish you had?
Oh, I wanted to go into acting. Acting.
What is the surgical procedure you are most skilled at?
I'm one of the few people in country who can operate very difficult operations through keyhole, through a very, very small opening. So I'm one of the few people in country. Yeah.
We come to the segment myth or fact. I will make a statement. You have to just suggest whether it is a myth or a fact. Surgeons are workaholics.
Fact.
Surgeons are superstitious.
Fact.
In the next 20 years, surgeons will be able to implant a chip in brains to make any human super intelligent.
Fact actually.
Fact? Interesting. Doctors marrying doctors is a good idea. True or false?
It's myth actually. It's a false idea.
Doctors marrying doctors is not a good idea. Neurosurgery or neurosurgical procedures sometimes occur when patients are awake. What is the most strangest behavioral reaction that you have witnessed while operating?
Patient singing, you ask them to sing and they start singing sometimes.
While their brain is complete.
Yeah.
Interesting. If you were stuck on a deserted island with Baba Ramdev, what would you do?
Oh, I learned yoga from him.
You will learn yoga from him.
Yeah.
Are you a fan?
He cannot do anything else. He cannot teach anything else. So nothing else he has to offer.
Who, according to you, is the best neurosurgeon of India? Currently.
Difficult to answer.
You can give me a couple of names.
Well,
One of the finest.
there are many actually. For example, Basant Mishra is there. Chandrasekhar Dev Pujari is there. They are in Mumbai. Then in Chennai, Dr. K. Sridhar is there. Dr. Subrato, there, Dr. Chatterjee, Sandeep Chatterjee in Kolkata. So we have wonderful bunch of neurosurgeons in country. So I don't know. I can't really name one.
What is the latest advancement in neurosurgery that interests you the most or that holds the most promise according to you?
This neuro rehabilitation surgeries.
Neurorehabilitation.
Yeah.
Rate these specialized surgeons in the decreasing order of their skill of finesse. General surgeons, orthopedic surgeons, ophthalmologist, gynecologist.
Orthopedic surgeon, then general surgeon, then ophthalmic, then gynecologist.
Gynecologists are the least and orthopedics are the most.
Because in this country they are limited to deliveries, which happens automatically.
When patients tell you something wild that they read on the internet about their disease and say to start the treatment right away, what do you respond to?
I tell them that you are a Google Chan, go and ask the Google to treat you. I will not treat you.
Perfect. All right, Dr. Singh, your answers were rapid and super fiery. I really had a lovely time interacting with you. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed the whole episode, and I think you enjoy, and then share it and put your comments also, please, so that we know that you have really liked it.
And subscribe to our
subscribe
channel.
it.
Subscribe to our channel, and if you subscribe to our channel, you will never require a neurosurgeon's help in your life.
Never ever. I
Trust me.
promise you. I promise.
Scientifically proven.
I'll keep my hands off your heads.
Perfect. It has been an absolute honor, Dr. Singh. Thank you
Okay,
so much for
thank
joining
you.
us.